Matt,
Take three.
it's great that you came onto our show, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about Miller's Barbecue. So if you can tell us a little history. Why did you start Miller's Barbecue? And how did you start it?
So Miller's Barbecue started officially registered with the state. I have to kind of officially registered. Was 420 of 22.
Were you working out of the back of a van before then or something?
No, I kind of started promoting Miller's Barbecue
Before.
in March, but I didn't quite have the business registered yet. It was more of a, this is what I'm going to do. Hey guys, this is what I'm going to do. And then I got the $50 to register. I'm like, paperwork submitted.
Nice.
And so officially started April 20th of 22. And how that came about, I was working in the corporate world. I was environmental health and safety facilities management for a carrier corporation. And so I was in charge of a lot of stuff. I mean, anywhere from employee safety to making sure the building was maintenance and handled properly, all through COVID. And so it was quite a fun transition. But post-COVID, they decided we need to shrink our liabilities and what we're carrying, so we're going to outsource that position to a third-party company. So they outsourced it. I worked with the third-party company for a little while, but the way they handled what I used to do versus the way the building wanted it to be handled were two different directions. And so I just kind of became monkey in the middle, and I was like, you know what, it's time for me to part ways. I took a 6-month job at a machine company for a little while. They got bought out, management changed, given a severance check, and said good luck. And so I was like, cool, what do I do now? Well, I had just catered 530 guys at Salem First Baptist Church. We had Justin Martin from Duck Dynasty as our guest speaker. Did brisket for the dinner. The church helped do all the sides. And a gentleman said, man, your food is really good. Have you thought about starting a business? And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's too much work. And so I just like doing
That's
it
like
for
what
fun.
they call foreshadowing.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do it. Too much work. It's just for fun. It's a hobby. Well, about a week later, just had this tugging on my heart, look into it. And so I was like, okay, fine. I'll start researching, looking into it. And a week later, I caught the bug and started promoting what I was going to do. So here we are, the middle of March of 22, and my wife at the time, she said, well, if you feel that's what you want to do, you are paid with your severance till the end of May, so you have to make a profit by the end of May. Mm-hmm. That was kind of my stipulation. So I said, okay, done. I can sell. And so I took no jobs in April. And then I took my first job the second week of May, and by the end of May, I booked 13 catering jobs. And then I did 16 in June, 18 in July, 26 in August, and so I just kept going.
Yeah.
And here we are, 2025. Now I have a restaurant. I operated a food truck for a little while. We've catered 1,100 people, which is absolutely insane to me to think about. 2 years ago, yes, I did 500 with my church, but that was just the meat. Here I did everything. And to see that I could grow from small catering events by myself to now a staff of 6 people, 7 people, depending on the time of year, and doing 800 to 1,000 people.
Out of your barbecue stuff, what is the number one thing that everybody wants? What's your signature?
So it's 2 things, brisket and pork belly burn-ins.
Oh, nice.
So I have one person who says I have the best pork belly burn-ins he's ever had. And so Tom Hoffert from Salem Chamber, he'll promote it whether I'm selling them or not. He'll tell people, you got to get his burn-ins. You got to get his burn-ins. And he's like, just because they're my favorite doesn't mean you're selling them, but you have to get them. But most people, I sell brisket the most. And so I actually have 2 customers who called me up and said, hey, I want a whole brisket for Saturday. Can you make it for me?
Yeah.
And so this Saturday, I'm just cooking 2 briskets for them to come pick up.
Tell me about the restaurant. You mentioned that you have a restaurant. Where is that located?
Yeah, so the restaurant's at 4600 25th Avenue in Northeast Salem. It's the old State Farm headquarters building.
Oh, okay.
Which is now the state DHS office.
Oh, okay.
And so Sassy Onion used to be the cafe in there for the last 10 years. And again, post-COVID, nobody's in the office. We're now starting to see this trickle of people coming
Yeah,
back
because
in
you
the
guys are kind of
building.
tucked back in there. I mean, when you really think about where that building is at, I mean, just to give people a better perspective, it's Hyacinth,
Yep.
and then you got that 45th building right there.
Yep. The 45th
There's that
parallel.
road that kind of goes, it looks like it's going into like a residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then you just run into a big brick building in the back of it. And
And very little signage on the building, so I have no idea that
yeah,
we're
they don't let you
even
get away
there.
with putting stuff out by the highway, do they?
No. And so we're just kind of tucked in this building. And mostly when I first was looking at a kitchen space, I wanted something for catering. At the time, I was renting a commissary kitchen in Independence, having to drive from South Salem to Independence every day. Haul equipment from my garage to the kitchen, do all my cook and prep, take the food to the event, go back, clean up, then take everything back to my garage. It's such a hassle. And so I said, I need my own kitchen. If I'm going to operate a food truck properly, I'm going to cater properly, I need just a space that everything's at. I can go and cook, clean, and deliver or drop off or serve out of the food truck. So I start looking around at kitchen spaces, and a friend of mine is the facilities manager at the building. He had our food at all the pop-ups I do for the Cherry City Roller Derby. He said, Matt, I love your food. It's great. We have this kitchen space coming available. You should come here. So I walked in the door. He opened up the roll-up for me to take a look at it. I'm like, nope, I am not coming here. I walk in, and literally most of the fluorescent lights are all burned out. The walls are really dingy, a bunch of broken kitchen equipment. I was like, this is way too much work, and I don't need to run a full cafe. I'm just looking for a kitchen. And so initially I said, no, I'm going to pass. But we looked at a couple other spaces, and my wife at the time, she said, Matt, that's the space for you. You can have everything in one spot. It's large enough, and the rent's really cheap. I'm thankful I took it, but man, at the time I was like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. I now have to open a breakfast and lunch cafe to service the building as
Yeah.
part of the contract. And so I'm like, well, I'm a barbecue guy, gonna be doing breakfast and coffee. Here we go.
There we go. I love that. So brisket burritos,
Yep.
burnt end, scrambled eggs, that
What-
type of thing.
Yeah,
Omelet.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
All I
Breakfast
know is
sandwiches.
I made sure to eat a lot before I came here because I knew we'd be talking about barbecue. I mean, really seriously. I'm like, I have got to eat before I go.
Oh, I scarfed breakfast in the parking lot. So
Well, I start talking about food and you get hungry and,
Yep.
your brain works on you. I can't
I'm
eat
the
that.
lone person then because I didn't eat breakfast this morning at a network meeting, and we're talking brisket, and I'm just thinking, I'm just visualizing brisket.
Oh, that's what I
Yep.
mean. I
Yeah.
just,
Visualizing that in my head. So
because I've been in a couple of the events that you've catered and stuff, and the food's fantastic. So,
Thank you.
and it's hard to pull that off though. When you really have to do that volume and have it laid out for people, and then people go through the line and they do all that stuff, it's hard to serve. Like, when we do like a 50 pie order, you got to think about that first pizza comes out, and you still got 49 pizzas to follow that sucker. So.
Yeah.
The quality of that first pizza between getting it through the oven and then delivered and all that stuff, that's really kind of the benchmark for how well we can, pull that off. And I think, for you, it's kind of the same way. When you have all your food out there and you start putting it all together, I think it's kind of the similar thing. Is the first person who goes through the line is going to experience the same thing as the last person.
Yeah.
And being able to maintain that balance, because it's tough, because people are like,
It's hard.
oh my God, it's so amazing. And then, if you can't pull that off, then you have a group of them going, it was kind of dry, or it was kind of cold, or something like that. And so I think that between the 500 or the 200 or the 100 people doing 1,000 plus people, that must have been quite an undertaking.
It was a lot. Fortunately, it was split in 4 shifts. So I just staggered the start of the meats on the smoker so I could pull some off, go do a shift, pull some off, do a shift.
You're at the beginning of the line going, hey, chop, chop, chop. Everybody get
Yep.
through, come on.
So I literally was too, actually. But fortunately, I gave myself, there's enough time to make it happen.
Yeah.
But it definitely was a lot.
behind the scenes, a lot of people don't understand what it takes to pull something off, because you have it's not just days, it's weeks of planning, and then days of prepping and getting ready for the event. And then the part that everybody forgets is the behind the event, and the cleanup is a lot of cleanup.
Well, in that specific event, you talk about a couple days of planning, so buying all the food, getting it staged, having it ready. But I did all of it in one cook day. So I started at 1 in the morning, and by the time we were done serving the last shift and back at the restaurant to put everything away, it was 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And so it was a 24-hour day to pull off 1,100 people.
Wow.
And
That's
so
amazing.
it's a lot.
It is a lot. Did you learn a lot from that?
I did.
Because,
I did.
you went from doing smaller groups, which what was before that? You did 500, and then you probably did some 500s or maybe a little bit more, and then you jumped to that 1,100. So I bet that was a learning curve.
It was a big learning curve, but also it was more so the success of, okay, I can do this.
Good.
I've built the skills, the knowledge, the know-how. Going into it, I was a little bit stressed, a little bit nervous, but at the end of the day, when you have 36 pins of mac and cheese that have to be made and you just stagger it all out, when it's all done, you're like,
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah, I got that.
You
I
really
got
have to
that.
have that vision, though.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, if you're in a reactionary position, it's going to get bad fast.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to weather some storms and go, okay. And then you have people come up to you and go, this isn't working or that broke or whatever. It's not like, oh my God, oh my gosh, you can't do that. It's okay. Well, then let's just go ahead and do this and let's go ahead and do that. Sure, maintaining that level of calmness. Sometimes you're inside, you're kind of crazy, but people walk up to you, and they hard to communicate when you're all over the map. And so pulling that off, you really got to stay.
The best line that my general manager asked me one day, she gets a little bit stressed out because she's also tied in. She sees our finances and what's coming in, what's going out. How are we going to pay for this? Payroll's coming up. We're a little bit short. So all the different questions.
The normal business stuff.
The normal business stuff. And for me, I'm like, don't worry, it'll be all right. It's going to work out. We'll get there. And she looked at me one day and she said, how do you have such resting faith? And for me, I just know it'll happen. I know it's going to work.
Did you say resting fate?
Faith.
Faith, that's what I thought. I thought you said fate. I'm like, oh.
Resting faith.
Resting faith, yeah. No.
And it's just like, I just know it's going to work. And so I'm trying not to take on the extra stress of the unknown because I know it'll be there. It'll just happen when it's time.
Yeah, most people have that overall panic because they're trying so hard. They're trying to execute. They're trying to make everybody happy. They're trying to cover all those, like, I'm really, really working, and they really get caught up in that. And it's really hard to get, once you get past that, once you get to that ability that you're talking about where you just go, okay, it'll all fall in place.
Yep.
You just got to do everything you can do. I mean, my whole thing is you got 2 hands, 2 feet, and 1 head. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
And so you just need to put the right people around you to execute. And that can be challenging, too. So you said you have 6 employees on a regular and then 7 when you get that surge of business throughout the summer, I'm guessing.
Yes. I have a couple high school students that I have as my event staff. So we have kind of our main restaurant employees, and then we have a couple kids who come in. One works for me more often than the other, but I'll bring them in depending on how many events, what catering. So we're actually doing Beebold Street Ministries We See You event this Saturday. Well, it's also the same day as our Foster Christmas party. And so I have Charlie coming in, who's in high school, to come and help serve the homeless while I'm at the Christmas party. And so just whenever I need an extra set of hands, Charlie's kind of my go-to. All right, but hey, I got an event this Saturday. Are you available? Hey, I've got an event in 3 weeks. Are you available?
Did you have an apprentice that you are teaching your craft to, or?
I did. I did. And then they found another job that paid more. And so now I'll start over at some point.
Yeah.
But no, I would love to eventually not be the only meat cooker.
Yeah.
So, but at the moment, I live just a mile down the road from the restaurant, so it's pretty easy to be able to go in at 1 in the morning and then 3 in the morning and 6 in the morning and checking the meats as they're going through the night.
I would be asking myself, why am I doing this?
It's a labor of
Yeah.
love.
As I'm on the way down, why am I doing this?
Well, every once in a while, just the other night, I had 4 different kinds of meats on.
Wow.
And so each one, timings are all a little different.
Yeah.
So I went home for 4 hours, took a nap, and then at 1 in the morning, I was down there, pulled the pork butts off, threw a whole brisket on. That would be for our later shift, so for late lunch. And then checked the turkeys that were on, throw the tri-tips on, and then at 3 in the morning, the turkeys came off. So I just stayed at the restaurant. We have a couch sitting in our little living room, and I would take a 30-minute nap or 40-minute nap, and then go check the meat, and then go take a nap.
Yeah,
So
that's
that makes it easy.
the life of a barbecue person.
Yep.
I get it. Have you ever competed barbecue competitions or anything?
Officially twice.
Twice?
So Mike White.
You do a
puts
lot
on-
of unofficial stuff.
I do a lot of unofficial
Yeah.
stuff where there's no awards or accolades.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
officially twice.
Yeah.
Mike White and OSU put on a barbecue brew competition for a Veterans Day weekend. And so I participated last year, took 4th place out of eight Pitmasters. And this year I took 2nd. And so I lost by 15 votes is what I found out.
Oh, wow.
So, and what's crazy about it is still a people's choice.
Yeah,
And so it was just 15 people who chose one person over me.
right.
So
Is
I
it
felt
did they do it anonymously?
they could, yeah.
Because we
it's
did
just
an
a
event.
QR code on every table, and then they get to pick who they want.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say we did a pizza event where we had 6 places, and what we did was we cut all the pizzas and cut them in squares, and then we put a different colored toothpick in our square. And so basically, the person that came through got 6 little squares of pizza, and then they got a free soda and stuff like that. And we had them vote, and that's how we did it back in the day, piece of paper, pencil kind of thing.
Yep.
But nowadays, so fancy QR codes. But it was how did you guys? But they knew who was cooking what barbecue when you did it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see an anonymous, like if we really get down to the flavor profile, I like it like that. I'd like to know, even if I'm not the number one, although that would drive me nuts, it just be kind of neat to know that there's no other influences involved and that you have that, you kind of really would know where your gauge is at, like where you're at and stuff. Because I don't know. I'm always curious about that. I like the honesty kind of stuff. I like that really.
It might have been hacked, though. And the reason I say that, I was at a techie event a few months ago over in Bend, and they did the same thing. It was an event where a bunch of speakers went up and they did a pitch for their business, and they put a QR code up there, and you could in it, when you did the QR code, it gave you a list of everybody, and you can check off who you think is the winner. And apparently it was hacked at that event, and it was hacked because the person that actually won was the worst speaker, the worst idea, the worst product. And the promoters of the event saw these results, and they had to have an emergency. The whole thing was delayed. They had to have somebody come out and do
That's why
some
you lost them.
talking.
It was
Maybe it was hacked. I'm just saying. Maybe there's some ask
and-
for a recount.
And I was okay losing to the person I lost to.
Oh, okay.
It's Briel's Barbecue. He just moved up to the Portland area. But we started just months apart.
Oh, good.
We rented the same commissary
cool.
together for over a year.
Yeah.
Did a co-events together in the common space. So I've known him for a few years now. Love the guy to death. And so when it came to it was him and I. He took first, I took second. We took a photo together. I held up number 2. He held up his trophy. And my only goal this year coming in is I wanted to beat the guy who won last year, which he actually runs the ROTC at OSU. He took first place last year. So my goal was to beat him this year, and he took 3rd. So I was like, I accomplished what I wanted to.
Nice. I love that.
So,
Well, because people have different tastes. Like some people like a little sweeter, some people like it a little bit more, the woody. There's just different.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of got their own things that they like. So, event to event, it can be different. But hopefully you get enough attendees that you get a good balance.
yeah.
But it's always fun. I like those kinds of things.
And I love to hear that you guys are friends and stuff, and that I think that's really great when two businesses do the same thing, but they can still maintain a friendship and not realize that it's you're your competition. I'm keeping it secret. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And I know in barbecue, that's pretty big business in the competition arena, that they don't like to share secrets and stuff like that.
Well, and it's really crazy. So Mike and I will be at an event together, and somebody will come up and we'll be sitting and talking because we're friends. And they'll be like, oh man, look at the competitors comparing notes or whatever. And Mike will say, we're not competition, we're collaborators.
Yeah, I love that.
And I tell kids in schools when I go and speak, I said, how many barbecue restaurants do you think it would take to feed all of Salem if it was just barbecue? We'd have to have 80 or 90 different barbecue restaurants. We can't just do it as one barbecue restaurant. It can't just be one. There's no way I could feed all of Salem.
Yeah.
We have to have other people.
Yeah,
And then again, different styles, different tastes, different flavor profiles. And so you have the variety. So Roger and I are really good friends. Chris from Cindy Lou's Barbecue, we're really good friends. Mike Adams, Kyle Goldstrom from Smoke Theory. You have Jimmy out at Willamette Valley Smokehouse. We all are good buddies. At least I am with them. And so it's never really a thing where I'm like, I'm trying to fight and get their customers. No, we are just trying to serve Salem.
It's really simple. You just find the people that like you, take care of them.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. You know, it's really, people try to make it complicated because I think in this world, you know, like in social areas, people are like this person better or this person better. I'm like, I like both of them. You know, but everybody likes to define that. You know, like people get caught up on like number one or number two or number three or whatever. And I don't. I think that you're just trying to get out there and find your customers, and take care of them. I mean, really. And I love the fact that you are in great, you know, like collaborations with all the other Pitmasters and stuff, because I've met most of those people you're talking about, and they're all amazing people.
Oh, they're great humans.
And so it's sometimes you get a rotten apple in the bunch, just that it is more about the competition, about being better than everybody else. But for the most part, in all industries, I haven't run into too many of the pizza operators that are, you know, I have, but I mean, I haven't, you know, in the community out here, I haven't really got to know anybody out here too much. A couple, you know, and they're all super nice. But I don't know, it's neat, because barbecue is, I don't know, it's its own animal.
It's definitely its own beast.
You know, I'm into the
But it's
prepared
fun.
food industry. I mean, yours is much different. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah.
You know, me, it's just,
Now, do you make your own barbecue sauce?
Kind of.
Kind
And I tell people all the time when they ask me, so my barbecue sauce is gluten-free because I start with Sweet Baby Ray's as a base. So for me, I don't have all of the chef culinary skills that some people do going into a business like this. I'm just a home chef. But I love Sweet Baby Ray's. It's a great sauce, great flavor, but I was like, how can I make it better? And so I doctor it.
Yeah,
So I start with a great base and I make it better.
yeah, yeah.
So
Do
we-
you have classes?
I do. I teach barbecue sauce master class. Actually, how I do it is I give it away to a nonprofit for dinner for 6 with a barbecue sauce class. And so it's come in, I teach you how to take store-bought sauce, so Sweet Baby Ray's. They can do it with any store-bought sauce they want. And I teach them how to boil down the alcohol, add the flavors that they want to have, mix in their base, and now you have a different flavor profile for a sauce that you already like.
Yeah.
So whether it's Kinder's or whether it's Kraft barbecue sauce, you can change the flavor profile by doing simple things.
I like that.
And so I just teach them how they can do that at home, but how we do it as a restaurant. So I do up 5 sauces. We do a brown sugar bourbon, a cranberry brown sugar bourbon, a sweet peach, a hickory heat, and then a sweet and spicy.
Oh, I love that.
And so it's just taking
I think I've only had 2 of those.
a
you just
base and
mentioned.
mixing it.
You got some tasting to do.
I do.
Yeah.
I know.
The hickory heat you might like. It's jalapeno, habanero, cayenne pepper, red pepper flake. But here's
No, I'm
here's
not
a caveat.
I'm not a chili head, dude.
It's not hot. Like
You just mentioned things so it
I know.
melt my face off.
I know. So it's warm, but it's not one of those where you eat it and your tongue's immediately on fire. You still have the sweetness of the barbecue sauce, but you have the flavors of the peppers.
So you've had our Hertz sauce.
Yes.
You've had our Hertz sauce.
Yeah, you gave me a bottle of that.
Gauge that,
It's not as hot as that.
because I can't handle that.
Yeah.
Because I like, it was always flavor first, heat second. So for you, gauge that? Like, so you got the hurt sauce here. Where are you at?
Oh, I'm definitely down. So if you had hurt sauce was a 10, I'm like a 6.
Oh, I could do that then.
Yeah, it's not hot. The heat, I mean, you'll start to sweat and
Yeah.
you'll feel it the more you eat. But initially, you're getting this.
He's losing me with the sweating,
The sweating part,
Well,
yeah.
'cause any
But-
peppers make you feel warm inside.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like drinking a cup of coffee. If I drink a cup of coffee and it's warm in a bill, I'm going to start sweating. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
a good
It's
point.
not spicy.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
I'll have to try that. That sounds really,
Yeah.
really.
So is that at your restaurant? Do you serve? You have all your full menu there, and you have all your sauces available there.
I do.
Awesome. Well, we're going to lunch soon.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, you're everywhere, dude. Everywhere. I'm amazed. I really, every time I turn around, your name is popped up on helping people. It's being a part of all these different nonprofits.
Yeah.
It seems like you're a part of every single group out there that is doing something good in the community. I love that about you.
Thank you.
But it takes a lot. So what I'm getting right here by how you said, so basically you barbecue at night and you do all the charity stuff during the day.
Yes.
So really, it has some questions there for you then, I don't know how you can do that, but it is amazing. And so, I mean, I'd love to hear, you've got Polar Plunge on
Yep.
you.
So I have the Polar Plunge. This will probably make noise on the microphone, but Roofing It Forward,
Yeah.
which was a nonprofit that a friend of mine, Sarah Clintworth, had a vision for. And last year she shared her vision. And I said, great, when do we start? And she was like, you really want to do this? I said, yeah, when do we start? And so her experience previously, being in the roofing industry, she would approach her bosses and be like, I have this idea. It's a great program, great nonprofit. We should do this. And they'd be like, what's the ROI? Well, there is none. You're giving away a free roof to somebody who needs it. Well, we don't want to be a part of that. And so she started her own roofing company just so she could start her own nonprofit. And so when she told me the vision of finding people who had something happen in their life, they own their own home, but whether it's a medical condition or cost or the mom that we gave the roof to this year, domestic violence situation. They bought the house together. He was a contractor. He was going to fix it up. She ended up having to do restraining orders, all this stuff to separate.
Messy.
And it was just messy. But now she's left with this home that even homeowners insurance were dropping her because the roof was so bad. And so she had been nominated by somebody else. We read through the story. Then we had 2 nominations. We really dug deep into their financials a little bit, and we said, okay, this is the one that could use it the most. And so when we awarded her the roof, I mean, she was just in tears, had no idea it was coming, and we put that on this year. And then what was super cool is National Women's in Roofing heard about what we're doing. They said, we want to sponsor and donate all the labor for the roof next year. And so they said, our only caveat, it has to be done on June 2nd. First week of June is Women in Construction Week. And that Tuesday, which is June 2nd, is the day that they do their community service day. So they're going to donate all the materials, donate all the labor, but it has to be done during that first week of June and on that Tuesday. So I said, done. So nominations are open right now for somebody you might know that's in that situation where they have a $20,000, $30,000 expense and no way they could ever cover it.
And it starts with what? A lot of people just don't realize somebody had a vision
Yeah.
and somebody actually just said, why not?
Why not?
Let's
do
do it.
So in your involvement, share with us the involvement. So in the roofing, what do you do? What's your part in the
So
organization?
I'm secretary of the board.
Okay.
So I get to help with the note taking. But then within the organization, so our service days, I provide the breakfast and lunch for all the roofers. Our board consists of a supplier, a contractor, a marketer, a media management company, and myself. And so we kind of brought in people who could help promote us, people who could help find us supplies, people who could actually look at the roofs and gauge, what needs to be done, and then what supplies do we need, and then somebody to help us build out the website and manage our social media. And so we kind of covered all the bases with our board members in that regard.
We all three have something in common. You have food that an event and organization really wants to have in their special event going on. I do signs, and every event needs signs and banners, and so and it's hard to say no. And everybody comes at you and goes, I got the best event, and I got the best thing for you. And so we're all in the same boat, because I know Mike donates a lot of pizzas out there, and so it's kind of amazing, but it feels good to be able to do that. And so the nice thing about it is all three of us, we start with raw materials and raw goods, and we have a finished product that we are able to help people with.
Yeah.
And so that's really good. So I like to hear that. What other, the Polar Plunge, what do you do there?
So
Jump in the water.
jump in the water and get cold.
Is that just what a supporting person for it?
So
You do food for it?
Just the awareness.
Baron with Kicking Cancer. I serve on the board there as activities director, and so the last couple of years we've used it as a way to promote Kicking Cancer, but also fundraise for Go teams. And so I was able to raise enough through the business and how I promoted the Polar Plunge that direction that I won a vest, and so now I get to wear it. It's actually my favorite vest. Nice. But I wear it just to bring awareness around another great cause here in our community, supporting people with special needs. I take care of a 69-year-old full-time who's slightly autistic on the spectrum. She's been with me going on 9 years now in my home. And in our building, we now have an academy that just moved in, Centria Healthcare, and it's a one-on-one autistic academy. And so kids with autism come in, they're paired with one person, and that's their teacher, and they have classrooms and sensory rooms, and it's just really neat. And then we actually also hired from Garden Services, and we have an individual who works in my restaurant with autism, and she's a front of house barista, takes the orders, and she's doing a great job. And so it's just for me another way to say, hey, I support this community of people because they matter and they have value, they have worth, which really goes along with our vision statement for my business, which is communities that empower individuals to discover their personal value and worth. Because everybody has value, everybody has worth. You're a human being. It doesn't matter if you were homeless. We have a gal who was homeless. She's now 10 months sober from heroin, lives in the apartment complex right outside the gate of the restaurant, kept coming by. Hey, I want to see if you guys have a job. I love what you do. Do you guys have a job? We finally, one day, it was the right timing, the right moment, the right fit. And she's been working with me for a few months now, and she's phenomenal. And she just celebrated 10 months sober.
Oh, very cool.
And so it's just one of those things. Everybody has value and worth. It's do they have the opportunity to discover it, or have somebody mentor them and teach them and show them that value, or give them the opportunity to see it for themselves.
That's not all, though.
But that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
There's more?
This year, just partnered with another friend of mine. We started a nonprofit called Fostered Memories Network. The concept around it is providing photographs for kids in the foster system who otherwise wouldn't have childhood photos. So preserving a foster child's childhood memories. And so we actually just had our 4th board meeting. So that's how new we are. 4 months. And so we still have yet to elect officially the vice president and the official treasurer and the official chair. So we gotta have some interims at the moment filling in the roles, but we'll do our elections in January. So just started that up, and we officially will go live this next year. We had our first fundraiser for that organization. So
Oh, very cool.
pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
And then I'm on several committees, and
I was going to say, that's the one thing, is a lot of times people get involved in things that are like really close to them. It says a lot more about a person when you actually donate your time and your energy and your efforts and all that to places that aren't specifically tied to something that affects you. You just see a need for it in the community. I know you do that too. And that's really what impresses me is for just, a lot of people, they have something like, and they go right after that, because that directly impacts them and they understand how that feels and they understand, that. But you do a lot of other things. I think that maybe you've just got a higher sense of what people need out there, or is you just very fortunate you run into the right people and then you just are welcoming?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just I've been meeting the right people over the last 3.5 years. I chose to. I'm a people person. I'm absolutely opposite of Mike. I love to go out. He loves to hide.
Yeah.
I love to shake hands. He's like I could care less.
Yeah.
Well,
But
he cares, but he just
he does. He's just like
He's Mike.
he's Mike.
How else do you
We
describe
we
it?
love Mike. We love him. So don't get me wrong. I love that guy. But I'm a people person. I love to be in a room full of people and then meet and network and build connections. And then through that, people will approach me and say, hey, we have this need. Hey, we're trying to raise money for this. Hey, and my heart, some people actually laugh. They say, I don't think your heart's in your chest. I think your whole body is a heart. Like fingertips, head to toe, you're just a walking heart. But my heart's so big, I want to help everyone. I want to try whatever I can to do. And I actually had somebody just this last week tell me, they said, once you see, it's hard to unsee. So once you see a need, once you see an area that could be impacted with your help or something where you could make a difference, it's hard to unsee it. When I worked in the corporate world, I went to work. I would go out to eat at restaurants. I actually would order from Oddbos all the time because I lived out south and it was really close and it was easy to pick it up on the way home and grab a free 2-liter, and it was great. So I actually didn't even know who you were, but I was eating your pizza all the time. And then I'd go to church. And so the only time I did community service stuff was when my church would do something out in the community. Otherwise, I had no idea. I was just blinders.
Yeah.
No idea what Salem actually did, what community looked like for real. And then I started a business and I met people and started networking. And hey, come check out this event. Hey, come check out Family Building Blocks. Hey, come check out Liberty House. Check out the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club. See all these things that these people are doing. And I'm like, how can I get involved?
Yeah.
How can I help? How can I be a part?
And a lot of times, especially when you have something that people could use in their event or to promote what they're doing and things like that, it always feels in the beginning like they come to you and they say, hey, I need signs. How much can you donate?
Yeah.
I need brisket. How much can you donate? And pizza, because it's so simple, hey, we could just do this and that. But once you get past that and you realize all the good that you're doing, yeah, it's hard to not be a part of it.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a balance. I mean, you're human, even though you're a huge heart, you're still human. You still have boundaries and limitations that you have to kind of have a part of. But,
Somehow make money
Yeah.
to support your
Yeah.
business.
At the
I
same
did have to
time.
learn it was okay to say no this last
Yes.
year because I did overextend last year quite a bit. So this year I had to practice a little more discipline and self-control and actually say, I can't this year.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple events that was hard.
Yeah.
I love being a part of it, but it was hard to say I at this moment in time I can't give that away.
What I learned for my business that was very helpful, and it was suggested to me by somebody that did the sponsorship for the Oregon Jamboree, and they would get the $100,000 sponsor for it, is to do an application with some key questions in there, what it's doing, what it's for, whatever. And then the other thing I learned is you don't have to do 100%. You can do 50%. You could do a percentage. You don't have to give the farm away. You could still make enough to cover your cost or part of your cost. And I really like that advice. The other thing that really was fun is I've heard your name. I've heard about your barbecue place. Never met you. Ashley arranged, said, hey, you got to come in here. And I, last week at the Salem Greeters was at your place.
Yep.
And I was like sitting with Michelle, Ashley, she's a real good friend. And I says, hey, is Matt around here? And she's like, well, I think I saw him earlier. I was like, you have to introduce me to him. And so after the thing, and we have a lot of common people.
Yes.
He- we mentioned Bonnie.
I love Bonnie Mileta.
And
So I was like, you guys don't know each other?
yeah, like I thought I knew everybody. That's what he's always saying. You know everybody, and I was like, I know who you were, and I
Yeah.
know about the outstanding stuff that you do, but never met you. And then we just had these common things, and it was so much fun finding out that you're one of Michelle's number one customers, if not number one. And you're right down the road from her, so that was really fun. So
That was kind of fun to find out when she texted me. She's like, you never believe it. And I was like, wow, yeah, I've spent a lot of money with you. Mostly my customers have spent a lot of money through me.
oh, thanks for the clarification.
And so, but all of my events, when people want dessert, they want cupcakes or they want
Yeah.
dessert bars.
Yeah.
I call up Michelle and I say, hey, this is what I have. Here's how many people. Here's the date. And she's like, you got it. We'll be there for you.
Yeah, I love that.
And so I'll order it and I'll pick it up from her and I'll take it to my event.
Yeah, that's a really good connection.
Just find another way to compliment you. Good Lord, there's too many. Is the execution of things too. Like Michelle Ashley, she's really good at executing something like that.
Yeah.
To be able to say, like, you can call her up and she can just make that happen for you. How nice that is,
Yeah.
you know? And it's the same thing with you. When people say, hey, I need you to be able to accomplish this, you're able to really do that, you know? It's not as easy as people think as far as that goes. You know, it's just not a flip of a switch. I don't know.
That's really good. So I got some rapid fire questions for you.
These are my favorite.
You get a 25th hour in a day. What would you do?
Serve.
Serve?
Yeah.
I love that.
My mission statement for the business is to serve others. 3 words.
So what belief in your mind have you changed lately?
That I don't always have to say yes.
Okay.
That was a more recent change.
One superpower that would only work on Monday, what would it be?
Oh, man.
God, you really dove into some questions.
Those are good ones.
These are
That's a
great.
great one.
Normally it's like coffee or tea.
A superpower that only works on a Monday.
Yeah.
That's tough. I don't know. I think I'm good. I don't need a superpower.
Okay. Well,
You
it
know,
sounds like your
I-
superpower is your heart
Yeah, I
all
don't.
the time.
I don't have to live on caffeine. I, for the most part, feel like I get enough rest. But I guess if I could fly, maybe that'd be cool.
Yeah. Super speed.
Make it easy to get to an event quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Time travel. Get there.
If there was one item this year that you would put in a time capsule, what would it be?
Probably a key to the restaurant, being the first restaurant. Put that in a time capsule, and then that'd be a good memory of where we were, and then where we
It's weird
go in the next 30 years.
when you look back.
Yeah.
If your life had chapters and titles, what would it be called?
I'm actually writing a book,
Awesome.
and it's titled Behind the Why.
Behind the why. I
And
like it.
so, chapter 1 is behind me. So, if my life had a chapter, my life itself is titled Behind Me. And then chapter 2, the business's chapter, is titled Behind the Business. The vision of what I see my life and my business doing is titled Behind the Vision. And then 4th chapter, which will be an unwritten conclusion chapter, is titled Behind the Future. The future I don't know.
Right.
I've given you my life story. I've given you the vision behind the business. You know, here's where we're going. Here's what I would like to see happen. But the future is unwritten. So let's find out later what ended up coming of it.
What smell instantly takes you back in a place?
Biscuits.
Biscuits? So where does it
So, my first skill that I had to master in cooking as a child, I'm 8 years old, and it was making biscuits. And so my adopted parents adopted 8 kids. They had 2 of their own, so I grew up in a household with 10 kids. And even though that ended poorly, I graduated the foster system, as most people know my story. When we were adopted, my mom said, I'm not doing all the cooking for everybody. And so you're going to have to learn how to help cook and serve in the kitchen. And so the first thing that I learned how to make was biscuits. And, it's just Bisquick biscuit mix, mixing it together, kneading the dough, cutting them out. But anytime I walk in somewhere and I smell biscuits, that's what brings me back. And so now that's Christmas morning every year is biscuits and gravy. And that's part of my restaurant. I make the biscuits. Nobody else does. I make the biscuits, and then we'll freeze a bunch and then pull them out as we need them. But that's the job that I hold on to.
Well, you'd mentioned the fostering, and I know that's a whole other story. You said, well, people know my story. A lot of people don't know your story. But, I don't know, we've been talking for quite a while right now, so I don't want to dive too far into that.
10 minutes.
And so, because you said it ended poorly, but I think that there's a message involved in that. Like, you take biscuits as really a positive moment there, which actually became now such a significant part of your life. And it's funny how it starts in that moment and stuff. But you've taken a lot of those things. You said it ended poorly. You've taken a lot of those things, and you've turned them into the human being that you are now. And so I think it's really kind of saying something that it's amazing how you can be in some terrible situations or however that may go, but you can take that as fuel and then use it for all the good that you're doing now, which is so needed out there. And I mean, you can really connect with a lot of people that are dealing with that, and be able to bring them to the light, which is really cool.
So I shared my story at a networking group called Food for Thought. They meet on the last Wednesday morning at the Rec. And I got done sharing my story. It was a month after the restaurant had just opened, so end of 23. And a gentleman came up to me and he said, "How amazing is it that you went through all the abuse, the different foster homes, you graduated the system, and here you are, you just opened a restaurant in the state DHS office."
Yeah.
And
I
at
think
that
about that every time I go to see you.
at that moment, I didn't even think about where I had opened the restaurant. I was more worried about I need to get this thing open and running. And so
Yeah.
my focus was on restaurant, not location. And then he mentioned that and it was a light bulb. And from that moment forward, I immediately said, okay, how can I turn this restaurant into a space that is a community for people? A safe space for kids. So now you come into my restaurant, it doesn't look like your typical restaurant. And I actually had a 1-star Google review that ragged my restaurant because it looked like a man cave.
You got little hats
I
and stuff.
want my restaurant to feel like a home. So there's a living room set up, there's a TV on the wall, there's toys and puzzles and games for the kids. There's 3 dining room tables, so families can come and sit at a family table and share a meal. Or a group of strangers could randomly all sit together if they want to and share a meal and meet new people. There's restaurant seating style in our common space, but in my restaurant it's all family oriented in how it's laid out, or even community oriented. Right now we have an art display from Church at the Park on the wall, and it's faces of homelessness, of people who have gone through their program and their stories of impact and lives changed because of an organization here in our community. And I saw those at their first ever fundraiser luncheon, and I said, I can't give much. I don't have a lot financially to give right now, but how can I use those to further the story? Can we put them in my restaurant? And DJ said, I hadn't really thought about that. That's a great idea. So he talked with his team, and we're putting them up. We put them up at the restaurant to have the faces and share the stories of homelessness from their perspective. And the title of the art display is The Humanity of Homelessness. There are people behind the situation. And so again, when I'm talking in the schools, we don't have to let what happened to us define who we are.
Right.
We get to choose, are we going to be angry, bitter, hurt, upset, or are we going to do something different with it? Are we going to use it as a tool or our weapon or our fuel to be better or do better? And so for me, it's something that, I don't want anyone to experience what I went through. I don't want someone to have to be in that situation, but it happens. So how can I use it to help make something better for someone else? Or
That's a great place to take that emotion.
give
Yeah.
advice that could say, hey, right now this is tough, this is hard. I know what you're going through, but here's what you could do with it. Here's where you could go. This is the easy route. You could just get angry. You have every right.
Yep.
But here's the harder path, but it's so much better,
Right.
so much more rewarding. And here's how you can do it.
Yeah, that's a great message to put out there.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thanks for being on our show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.